On today's episode of the Command Center podcast, we have RFK news. Exciting for fans, exciting for DC. Can't wait to talk about that. We've got the draft recap. Did they get 5 guys that are going to start for this team? We'll talk about that some more. And we can't escape it. No one can escape it. Shedeur Sanders news. It all starts right now. Welcome to the Command Center podcast. I'm Logan Paulson here with Fred Smoot and Santana Moss. And guys, I got a bone to pick. I got a problem.
All right, talk to me.
Okay, so you guys have seen this gorilla thing that's floating around?
Yeah.
Like 100 guys versus one gorilla?
I think we had this conversation a year ago.
We had this conversation a year ago, and just for the record, I was talking about this same setup.
Yeah.
I think I was still playing. I was here in Washington. I want to say it was like 2000. It was Trent Murphy's rookie year, so 2013. So this has been on my radar for well over a decade.
Man versus animal.
Man, and specifically a gorilla.
Yeah.
Specifically a gorilla. And so obviously they've tweaked it. You know what I'm saying? They've changed it. Because I think you hurt yourself, right? Like when you say, 100 dudes versus a gorilla, because you got shirts, you got shoes, you got stuff. Like in mine, you're butt naked. How many people does it take to beat the gorilla? Yeah. That's mine.
Yeah. So you want even ground.
If
the gorilla is naked, you want the guys naked.
That's what I want.
See, he's in his habitat when he has no shoes on. You need shoes.
Yeah.
You need something to get away from his ass.
But I'm saying, like in this room, there's a silverback gorilla over there in the corner.
Yeah.
How many people does it take, if you're in your birthday suit, to beat that thing to death?
Just I'm gonna tell you like this. I think I remember saying I'm gonna exit the room and let y'all do what y'all do. But I don't know, but I do remember us talking about this way before everybody else.
So Jason kept the receipts in August of 2024.
Yeah.
We talked about it. We have comments on the video, like
man versus
and so
animal,
fans, I'm a little disappointed you guys were like, man, I've heard this before.
Yeah, like why not say Command Center podcast said this? Like, no, Mr. Beast brought this up. Like, because anything Mr. Beast do, it's cool, but Command Center, we just dudes.
Yeah. And I do think, like, the 100 guys is interesting.
Yeah.
But I've asked some, like, Special Forces dudes this question.
Yeah.
And they kind of look at you. They got that tough face. And they're like, 5.
Yeah. But you got to tell them, no weapons. Right?
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, let's be honest.
So you get this. The first time I asked the Special Forces guys, he was like, in this room right here? I'm like, yeah, there's no mic stands. Everything's gone.
Yeah.
He goes, okay. And he looks up at the ceiling, and he's like, what do you think that is? And I was like, it's probably drywall. And he's like, I could punch through that. And there's probably piping in there. And I pull some stuff out, pull some screws out. And I was like, this dude is just on a different.
He's looking for weapons that you cannot.
One guy's like, I think I could probably electrocute him with the outlet. And I was like, oh, my God.
So basically, they're telling you that the humans won't fight fair.
Like, I mean,
you can't, not to win.
This is the thing about it that you think about. So even if I said, hey, man, you're just in here by yourself.
Yeah.
You, birthday suit, go kill that gorilla. Man. It would take probably 1,000 people.
Man,
you know what I'm saying?
Gorilla gonna eat
like,
you
there's
alive,
no number that because like
no, I'm not gonna do human beings like that because we got some big human beings. You are a big human being.
But dude, I'm telling you. So like, I think about when I fight my son, for example.
Yeah.
So I'm 270. My son's 100 pounds.
Yeah.
That's not exactly the same, but it's probably close.
Yeah.
I would
demolish him.
I would mess my son up if it was like, you know what I'm saying? And I bet you I'd get tired. Like if he was just like wave after wave.
Here go the thing that we got that the gorilla just never have. We can plan. All right? But we can plan the attack. That means we're gonna take
animals
Logan.
are smart, man. They know what you thinking from the get go. As soon as you thinking about that wall,
they're
you're
more
like
instinctive. They're more instinctive. Now here go. If I got 10 Logans, if I got 10 Logan Paulsons, one thing we can do is if I can get one Logan Paulson around the neck. One Logan
Have you seen a gorilla? There's no neck.
Happening, Captain.
There's no neck.
No, what I'm saying is we're going to hold the hands and the feet.
You better be like that Special Forces and go look for some pipe.
This is the craziest one I heard. It was like, hey, I could do it with 5 people. He's like, I need someone who's really sick, about to die, and then need 4 able-bodied people. And I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, I'm going to send that guy over there. He's going to get beat up, and then we're going to take his bones out and get after him.
Oh, my God.
But think about it, though. That'd work.
So you're going to sacrifice one guy to the gods.
Hey, not everyone's going to make it, man. But then if you just tweak the parameters a little bit, and I say, hey, here you get a 5-pound weight from the weight room.
Yeah.
Now we got a shot. Now we're cooking with gas.
Yeah.
I say, here's a blade. Oh, one dude.
So basically, without weaponizing something, we don't got a chance.
That's
That's what you're saying.
I don't think so.
No.
I think we got a chance.
I don't think so.
I don't think the numbers matter as much as the mentality of the people you got.
That's what I'm saying.
Because if you have 100 Jasons in there.
Yeah.
Nah. But you could do 5 Logans. Something could
No,
happen.
this
You know,
is a-
because I'm not doing
No,
anything.
this is a job for the people that society has pushed to the side.
The other one that I like too
down jail.
is I talked to my Green Beret buddy about it, and he said 5 people. He said, I think we could fatigue it. Like, because you could just mess with it, and if you could just stay out of reach of the gorilla
Yeah.
and tire it out enough, it's got to play the long game.
No, that ain't gonna work.
Gotta
That
play the
gorilla
long
gonna
game.
slide across that thing.
Hey, first
He
of all,
gonna-
you gotta realize.
But think about it. Like, you could tire the thing out, though.
Do you not
I don't
realize you're
know.
fighting against a vegetarian? All right, the gorilla's a vegetarian. All right.
What does that have to do with anything?
Well,
You ain't gonna get tired.
no, vegetarians don't get. First of all,
Stop that
vegetarians
right
are
now.
the biggest animals on earth.
Okay.
Elephants is a vegetarian.
Can we talk-
Giraffe is a vegetarian. Like vegetarians grow bigger than meat eaters. Meat eaters have more energy than vegetarians.
So let me just say this real quick.
Talk to me.
Because this always drives me absolutely insane. When people are like, you ever seen a skinny gorilla? They all eat is bamboo or something like that. Like, it drives me nuts. You know, they have a special enzyme in their gut to help them digest the fiber and turn it into a protein. Like, it's not the same, right?
Yeah.
Like, so when a person's
Well,
like,
what you gotta say?
I'm
What you gotta say about the elephant then?
Well, okay, it's
A
a
sperm whale.
okay. Sperm whale's a carnivore.
No,
first off.
I'm just saying. What you got
It's
to
a
say?
carnivore.
Yeah, but they also eat the smallest particles in the
A
ocean.
sperm whale eats giant squid. You're thinking of baleen.
No, I'm
like
thinking of a blue whale.
Yeah, blue.
Blue
But
whale.
they eat krill, which
Yeah.
is also a animal.
Yeah, but it's also micro.
I'm just thinking about how Fred know all this stuff.
It's just micro.
It's not. It's like a little shrimp.
Yeah, I know it.
Yeah, but it's like maybe
Millions of them.
Yeah, but so they're also eating proteins.
Yeah.
Like animal-based proteins is what I'm saying.
But we can say that the gorilla is a vegetarian. Right?
Gorilla's vegetarian.
Yeah,
Yes.
all right.
But it doesn't. It's
Yeah,
a.
it don't have nothing to do when it comes to its energy.
All I'm saying is we ain't going down by the hands of a vegetarian. Do you understand that? Me and 99 dudes, I'm going to tell these dudes before this match, this is a vegetarian. We got to take him down.
That's your inspirational speech.
Yeah, we will
As
not.
you stand in the back, like, oh,
We
Hey,
would not
boy.
lose to a vegetarian. I had steak last night.
We're going to the steakhouse after this. You understand me? We're not losing no vegetarian.
so long story short, this was our thing
Yeah.
Yeah.
before. Like, seriously, like
Then we got no love.
We
for
got
it.
no
can
love for
honestly
this.
say that we brought this up and had a long
Yeah.
talk about this.
Yeah.
very
we
similar to what we just had, actually.
Yeah.
It's
we
probably
did.
verbatim. But
We-
yeah,
we
so
brought this up.
So give us some love, man. If you see that out there, cite us. You know, hey, as
Mr.
first
Beast didn't do this.
Is this Mr. Beast thing?
Yes, it is.
Really?
This is a Mr. Beast thing.
All right.
And you know when Mr. Beast touched something, it turned to gold. I'm
It is
sorry.
pretty wild.
Like if Mr. Beast touched something, and he just shows up in your city with some like idea, like I'm finna jump off a building. Like he shows up in your city, he gets 1 billion views, and now he's the man. Now he say fight a gorilla. We said this a year ago. Nobody would. Our fan base did grab it. They did talk about it, but the world didn't grab it. But
Yeah,
now
the
Mr.
world-
Beast says
he's got it.
Yeah.
He's got it. All right. So that's that's our plea to you as a fan base. Just help us out a little bit here.
just
you
show
know?
us some love.
All right. And so in more Commanders-based news, obviously the RFK news is out now. It looks like that there's an opportunity for the stadium to be built at the old RFK site, which is really exciting for the city of D.C.
It is.
Exciting for the fan base. And obviously it's still incredibly early in the process, but at least it does seem to be taking steps
Yeah.
in that direction.
Hollowed ground.
Yeah.
Hollowed ground. Like, you want to talk about the dads and the sons that's going to rejoice sitting in them stands? Like, it's going to be nostalgia at its finest. All right? I once got asked by a fan like a week ago, did you play at RFK? And I'm like, I'm not that old. But
You know, I played at RFK.
what?
In college, they played the Eagle Bank Bowl there.
Oh, for real?
Yep. And
Get outta here.
Yeah, played the Eagle Bank Bowl there.
So the youngest out of
From
us.
Cali?
Yeah.
So the
So you was at
youngest.
UCLA?
Yeah, UCLA, we played Temple in the Eagle Bank Bowl. And it
Did
was,
y'all win?
So
we
what's
did
it?
win.
So damn, what year was that?
That was 2009.
I feel like the whole time I've been here, that thing looked like it about to fall.
No, but
Yeah.
you remember the Nats played there also, and they did play them bowl games there.
And I will say it was one
That's
of the most
crazy.
miserable experiences I've ever had. Not
Lord.
because of the stadium, but because it was like really cold and the field, you know, there's like that one open end down there.
Yeah.
It was completely frozen, like asphalt frozen. And so you fall, like you'd slip because your cleats wouldn't dig
Did they
in.
had to paint the field
Yeah,
green?
the field was painted green.
Yeah.
And anytime you fell, like I fell in the first quarter, like I got tackled and someone fell on me, and and I bruised all my ribs, and I was just like, it was terrible. You know what I mean? Because like, imagine playing tackle football, like clearing the cars out and playing tackle
on the
football
damn asphalt.
in your cleats. Like that's what it was like.
so funny. The youngest one of us has played at RFK, and the two old heads ain't played at RFK.
And it was cool. Like it was one of those spots where it's kind of like not the same level, but you know when you go to Lambeau and you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah, it's the mecca of
like
football.
you kind of felt like there was ghosts in the building a little bit, you know, which is kind of cool. Like,
He ain't lying.
yeah. So obviously, like we're really excited about it. It was really cool to see Roger Goodell at the press conference. Like, and hopefully that keeps progressing. If you want more information about it, make sure you go to commanders.com for more. There'll be a story up there on the website. So make sure you check that out. All right. So now that we've got the gorilla thing, which was maybe the most important thing in this show, let's give us some love on that.
Yeah.
The RFK news. Let's recap the draft. And let's start, I guess, with super high level. And, you know, like the Commanders only had 5 picks in the draft.
Yeah.
And I was kind of like, usually like national media is not super psyched about like those low volume drafts. They say, oh, we need more volume to have a good draft. But there's a news outlet that aggregates all the mock drafts and then kind of compares your draft to the mock draft. Commanders were the number 2 team by that metric. CBS Sports, A-, AP News, B+, Sports Illustrated, B, NFL.com, B, PFF, B+, and The Ringer, B. So I think overall,
that'll get you high on a roll.
people pretty good about the people feel pretty good about the Commanders draft.
Yeah, I felt great about it. I think we all said this though that night. You know, both nights we was here. It just seems different. It has a different kind of
Aura to it.
I don't even know if I can use aura for a word, but it seemed like for the years, and especially the years of us playing, we were just getting guys. You know what I'm saying?
Names.
Like you see a name, oh, okay, we got them. We have 5 or 6 receivers, or we got 2 more. You know what I mean? And now I think everything is intentional. You know, they go out there getting. It's actually going to really benefit what we do as a team. You know what I mean? It's fitting what we do and who we are. So that's what's intriguing to me, just seeing that you getting guys that fit your culture and you getting guys that fit what we do offensively and defensively and also special teams wise.
I know you a winning organization when you have non-sexy drafts. When you don't get the names everybody think you're going to get. Like when you have those Kansas City type drafts, when you had it, we just have to big guys. Like nothing sexy about that. We'll get athletes in the back end of the round. Like it's like hip hop music. Just because you got a hot song, don't mean you got a hot album. Like Kendrick Lamar wins all the awards because his work has some validity to it. Not Juicy J, and I love Juicy J, but it's gonna bang in the club. It ain't winning no awards. Like, so it don't have nothing to it. Like now that we having these drafts have something to it. And like I said, I think it's a great thing that we want these draft picks, but do we need these draft picks to win?
Yeah, and I think to kind of piggyback off of that, like B-Mitch said something similar on the live show that we did on draft night, where he's like, you know, it's so funny that fans get mad, but sometimes the best drafts are ones where you don't know the names.
Yes.
I think a lot of it is like, I studied a lot for this draft. I studied a lot, and thank God I've actually watched all of these players before the draft started. But like, you can't watch, like the director of college scouting, he'll watch 500 guys.
Yeah.
He'll have a report written up on 500 football players.
Yeah.
And, you know, the GM will probably watch 350 to 400. They're kind of trying to distill information down to him. And I have yet to meet a fan, even people who are super locked in from a draft perspective wise, who watch that many guys.
Yeah.
And I just think like trust that, especially now with how smart teams are getting. Teams are smart now. I get the draft and I'm never like, oh, that guy's a reach. Like, especially this last year, I wasn't like, oh, that's a terrible pick. It all kind of fell in line. People are smart, man. And they're getting better and better from an analytics perspective about distilling this thing down. The one thing that I took away from this draft, and we're going to talk about each pick individually here, is you got 5 players.
Yeah.
I think all 5 of them have a really good shot of making the team.
Yeah.
And very rarely do I feel that way about a draft.
Yeah.
And so when you got a guy in the 7th round in Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt who is, I think, got a really tremendous upside as a runner, I think he could make the squad.
Yeah.
And that's very rare. And so I think that's one thing to think about. And the other thing I just want to call attention to this is there's 5 people on this sheet, but I don't think this represents the draft class.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is you got Deebo Samuels with that 5th round pick.
Yeah.
So you're kind of in this desert, not picking for a long time from 126 to 245 or whatever it was. Like
But you got a body.
insert Deebo Samuels there, right? You know, you don't have that 3rd round pick.
Insert Marshall and Lattimore.
Insert Marshall and Lattimore, and you don't have a draft pick next year, but you have Laramie Tunsil.
Yeah.
And I look at if you add those names to this draft
We
class,
won.
It's hard to think of a group that did quote unquote did the draft better.
Yeah, because you're not going to find guys that's
No
I guess you
Laramie
can
Tunsil.
say that's already have. I guess you can say what's the word I'm trying to use? I'm having brain freezes.
Just established guys. They established.
Bingo. Guys that's already have that've been in the league long enough to go out there and say, okay, we can depend on these guys. You know, most guys in the draft or most teams in the draft, they're drafting these guys banking and hoping that, hey, these guys have to play right now. And that's one of the things that Adam Peters said, you know, that was interesting to me is just before we have to pick a guy tonight, you know, we can go play right now with the guys that we have.
Yeah.
Yep.
So before we picked the guy, we had 3 guys already from
ready to go.
From using our draft capital that can help this team.
Yeah.
And help us have a better year than we had last year. So
I
that's a
take
great
that
point.
guarantee before I take that what if. All right, the draft is a big old what if.
Yeah.
All right, what if we coach them right? What if we got the right scheme? It's always a what if. Laramie Tunsil is not a what if. Debo Samuels is not a what if. Marshawn Lattimore is not a what if. I know what I'm getting when I'm dealing with these guys. So when you put them in this draft class, we won.
Yeah, and I think this also taught me something about the draft. And what I mean by that is, like, I've always thought you want to build through the draft.
Yeah.
And you do.
Yeah.
But, like, when you think about, like, draft capital as, like, money, for example, right? It's money to make your team better. It's a resource to make your team better. And so when you are allocating some of those resources to establish known commodities, that's still a good draft process because you're still growing your team in that way. So I think that, especially with this is just team building, like, philosophy. You've got a franchise type player in Jayden Daniels on a rookie deal. The window, the Super Bowl window's now. We got to be more aggressive, and we used our draft capital to get that done.
Protect them.
So I think that's kind of what I learned from this. Like,
I looked at the draft like a selling a house.
okay,
Like if I want to sell a house, I got a couple of hot spots in this house. If I upgrade them, I can get more money. And that's the kitchen, that's the bathroom. All right. And maybe the backyard.
Right.
But anything else that I put money in is a wasted.
It's a waste.
It's a waste.
And sometimes the backyard is a waste.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I just want to, I think the draft, we literally hit, especially with the tackle, Conley. That's kitchen to me. That's kitchen work. Like, we adding that extra pantry, we adding that extra, what's the name in there, and it's bringing value to the house. It's bringing value to the house.
Yeah.
And I think that's the big thing that you want to do, because now that I sat down and I really looked at it, I was talking to Shen yesterday. I said, Shen, now that I look at this offensive line, if I start at the left tackle and I go across, I got a Pro Bowl left tackle. I have, to me, Coleman has Pro Bowl capability at guard. I have a Pro Bowl center. Sam Cosme back. I got a Pro Bowl guard. So I'm already 3 for 4 in Pro Bowlers on my offensive line.
4 for 4.
Yeah, 4 for 4. And then I got this new freshman, tackle. Like, I have a solidified line right now. I have road graders at that line. So if you look at it from that perspective, we have the trench warfare that we need to win in this league right now.
Yeah, and I think, like, when you've got, you know, like, I look at the last couple of years, you know, with the Washington Commanders, and it's the offensive line's been a little bit up and down, and it's limited what you can do offensively. And I think these are smart steps to help maximize your quarterback. They're smart steps to help maximize your run game. Like, because really, like, everyone talks about skill position players, and that's important. Like, the spine of the team is your offensive line.
It's our offensive, defensive line. Like, I'm sorry. That's where everything starts. That's where everything ends. I have always been an advocate of the dudes that smell like bacon.
Yeah, and so Josh Connolly, tackle from Oregon, I think is a great example of this. Like, he's big. He's 6'5". He's 315, 311, whatever he is. He ran a 5 flats, depending on who your stopwatch is, like a 5 flat or a 4.9 40. He's got a 34.5-inch vertical. He's explosive. He's got long arms, got 34-inch arms. Like, he's kind of like the mold, right? When you look at the analytics for the tackle position, like, can he get a little bit bigger and stronger? Sure.
No doubt.
They all can.
But I look at him, I'm like, man, like, there's a lot of growth potential there. Same thing with Coleman. And so I think it really does a lot in terms of raising the floor of the offense, Tana. And I think about, like, you as a receiver, and how like when you have a great O-line to protect, like those shots down the field become a little bit easier. The offense becomes less horizontal, and that's super important.
And I think too, when you look at it, like one of the things I mentioned on draft night, when we picked him up, thinking about how much, Cliff had to hold back because he had to keep guys in to block.
Tight ends,
You know what I mean?
chip blocking.
And we was out there winning with 2 or 3 guys in the routes, which
And
is hard
it was
to
a
do.
master class.
Yeah.
It was
You
a
know what I'm
master
saying?
class.
Yeah, Cliff got in his bag so much last year, they forgot about the Cliff that they was trying to, I guess
narrative,
the big narrative was, late in the season, Cliff disappears.
Yeah.
That was going on for about a week.
Yeah.
And then he got in his bag and said, that's how y'all feel about me? All right, I'm going to show y'all.
Yeah.
And then you get a guy in Jayton that's so accurate, that's so on time. You getting these guys running their routes the way. Now we getting more help up there to where he say, okay, now I can get 2 more guys out in the routes.
No, I could get 5 guys.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
what I want to do.
So that's what you look for. And it was funny because it wasn't a sexy pit. It wasn't guys that I was happy about it. I was driving home and I'm listening to late night radio and they was like, oh yeah, but I didn't even know who was that guy. And I love that when I hear that from the fans. That's the same way they felt about Dan Quinn coming here. Oh, why did we get him? We wanted the other guy from Detroit.
I just think that's so funny.
When you hate and when you're a fan base and you're not happy about the moves that's being made, you understand that the people who really know what they're talking about, you have to be like a guy like myself is real happy about it because you don't know, but they do.
Yeah.
And I trust in what they do. And so I'm just happy because we talk about depth and seeing Cosme go down last year, seeing how those guys stepped in for Cosme, and now to know that we have other guys, we added another guy to go along with those guys, man. You're just going to have the advantage to go out there and say, man, who ready to play this week? We're going to pick our best 5.
Stuff a room. We stuffed 2 rooms during this draft. We stuffed the offensive line room to capacity.
Mm-hmm.
We stuffed the defensive back room to capacity. It's going to be competition there. It's going to be also the talent, the floor of talent is here now.
It's risen.
Now, it's here like it's nothing. And it's to the point in those 2 rooms, we had Sam Cosme go down. If we have a Jones go down, like it's just play who you want. Like it's guys galore in there, and that's what you want. That's what championship teams do.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because I did hear a lot of fans be like, "Who's this guy?"
He's tripping.
And I honestly, like, I was surprised because I feel like for years that I've been analysts here, like everyone's like, "Offensive line, we need to improve the offensive line."
We need a Trent Williams.
And then it's like
we go get one.
Here, it's like we are improving the offensive line.
Not
people
sexy.
are
And then you're not happy.
people are like
Not
unhappy
sexy.
about it.
They want to hear Shedeur, baby. they want to name him. Like, the one thing about the draft, it's like going to a car lot. Like when I say I'm finna go get a new car, when I come back, you waiting on something. But if I pull up in the El Camino, you like, Pops, what happened? No, the El Camino, I can actually work and drive.
Like the expectation.
The expectation was so
Yeah,
high
right,
up.
right.
Who are we going to get? Oh, edge rusher. They going to get an edge rusher. No, we got somebody to protect from an edge rusher. And that's what you got to like. Like, anytime, B-Mitch said it best, anytime the fan base is disappointed, you did your job.
Yeah.
You did your job. Because if the fan base is happy on draft day, that means you kind of played into the choir. You kind of did what they wanted you to do.
And not only that, man, you made a great point about what B-Mitch talked about. If you really paid attention to the draft, the Giants go out there and get Abdul Carter. And we said, checkmate. This guy here played him, and he had no sacks.
Mauled him.
No, he basically blanketed this guy the entire game. And not only just Abdul Carter, but basically everybody he went up against. So they was playing chess in our division, saying, okay, you got this guy, we're gonna go get a guy that's gonna solidify us even more up front to keep number 5 clean,
Yeah, and to kind of support Tana's point, he had zero pressures, not sacks, 0 pressures allowed in 10 of 14 games.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
Like, no,
that's
it is
unheard of.
easy to give up a pressure.
A pressure is a pressure. Now you just
It's like, oh, I misset this, or I'm a little getting pushed back. Like, that's pretty crazy to me.
Yeah.
No, that's as a defensive player, that's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like, at least I'm gonna get around and almost get. That means ain't no guy almost getting there. Like that's keeping it
That's a crazy
as clean. And that's why I named him David Banner. Because when he's David, he's a very cool, calm guy.
He was super chill when he came.
No, he was chill. But he turns into the Incredible Hulk, and that's when things change.
You know what's crazy though is some of the best tackles I played with, like Laramie Tunsil was like this. Jake Matthews was like this a little bit. They're really calm.
Nice.
No, Chris Samuels, same
Yeah,
way.
same way.
Like,
Yeah.
very nice guys.
Yeah.
If you shake their hand with no pads on,
Yeah.
when they put these pads on, something changes.
Something
like,
about it.
something changes where they just want to grab people, all right? And they want to maul them.
Yeah, it's
all right?
interesting.
Yeah, and then they turn it right back off, and then they go for ice cream. So I don't know what happens to these guys.
And even in the huddle, though, like, you know, like they're kind of funny. They're kind of joking around.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, it's like this, like that they just go dark.
Yeah.
It's like right when they say hike, it's just like violence in their eyes.
Yeah, they choose violence. Like right now, choose violence.
It's very strange. So obviously we're really I'm really excited about Josh Connerly. Like I don't know if you guys checked out the big board on the website, but like he was my 4th tackle, and I had him going kind of right in that range.
Yeah.
And I think right before the pick, it's like of the players available, he was definitely
you was spot on,
in that
man.
four players that we're really excited about. So that was awesome. Another guy that, again, like not to toot my own horn, but like was right exactly where I thought he would go.
You tooting your own horn.
Was Trey Amos, the quarterback from Ole Miss.
I think I brought him up. Did I?
So this is what we
Yeah.
did, and I'm going to give you credit here.
B missed one of them too.
We talked about it in the break.
Yeah.
And we said, I was like, you can talk about Shavon Ravel or
Trey
Amos.
Yeah.
And Beamish was like, I want to talk about Trey Amos.
Yeah.
So we did talk about it.
Yeah.
And you like him. I know you like him.
Yeah.
And I think he was like number 5 on your DB ranking. He
Yes,
was very
he was.
high.
Yeah.
So, but Trey Amos, man, kind of feels the same way as Josh Connerly does. Like, as the board was falling, kind of opened that door. And it's just like, oh, man, here's 2 or 3
Here's a
guys.
first round
I was
grade
gonna say
in the
first
second
round
round.
grade guy that basically slipped to us in the second round.
And again, like the things that I like about him are his size. He's he's 6 foot, a little bit over, kind of 6'1", about 200 pounds. He's played at multiple schools, right? He's got this kind of. I love guys now in college football who he started as a Raging Cajun, goes to Alabama, doesn't work out, he gets relegated, transfers schools to Ole Miss. Like he had to find his
He had
path.
to fight.
Yeah.
Like, I love guys that had to fight their way up. That's why I love Cam Ward.
Yeah, it
like,
wasn't
Cam
easy
Ward
for him.
went from
Same.
a 0-star recruit to the first pick in the draft. And everybody just want to talk about Shedeur. And I'm like, that ain't what we should be talking about. We should be talking about this guy who entered college as a 0-star. That means you stink. Right? And
That don't mean you stink, because I damn sure ain't stink. I ain't have a star.
No, what I mean is nobody has put.
Yeah, I feel what you're
nobody's
saying.
lifting you up.
I mean,
You-
he just
you
ain't
work
get.
for
He just
everything.
haven't. He didn't get the eyes that everybody else got. That's what it really means.
So
you know?
I'm like,
we
respect
want
that
the we want the
story.
Fred Smoots coming out of college because we ran our mouth all day, so they had to come watch us.
Oh no! When
You
I
know what I'm
came
saying?
out, I had to go to junior college. I wasn't like on everybody's radar. Like I had to work for that. I wasn't.
I got you.
I wasn't that.
Yeah, and he definitely had to work for it, right? And so I think, like when you look at him, I think the thing that sticks out, and Fred, you could probably speak to this better, is the ball skills are excellent.
Yeah.
I think he's got good physicality. Like there's a competitiveness,
He got a,
you know,
he
like
got a fire about him that I love.
you
bro.
watch like the South Carolina game, if I remember correctly, and he's checking Harbor, who's like a 6'5", 240-pound wide receiver.
Yes.
And you would have thought
Yeah.
Harbor was nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so,
Put hands on him.
Yeah, and really got after him. Love that. Can play in zone, can play in man. There are some times where his footwork gets a little bit off. He's not like
But
the
that's
best,
when pro coaching.
not the best tackler. But
Polished,
again, those
yeah.
things I think are, given the type of guy he seems to be, seem like they're easily correctable.
But he's a willing tackler.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's what you
yeah.
want. Like,
I'm not-
He'll throw it in there.
So just to be clear, I'm giving context on why he might be at 61. Like again, I think you could have took him at 29, and I would have been like, that's awesome. You know what I mean? So I really like the player, but I'm just kind of saying like these are some things to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And again, I think you look at Joe Witt Jr. and Dan Quinn and their pedigree with DBs,
Yeah.
like and their ability to get the most out of guys. And what they did with Mike Sanders, even I know we give Benjamin St. Juste a hard time, but they made him the best version of himself
Way
last year.
yes.
And I think
Yes,
this
Lord.
guy's way more instinctive
And polished.
Yeah.
Way more polished and way more of a ball. He's a ball hawk.
He's a cornerback's cornerback.
Yes,
like
that's
he's
what
a
he is.
guy that if you was Dion want him.
Yeah.
he want him on his squad.
Yeah.
He want a guy that's gonna go out there, go after the ball, be in a guy's face, ain't backing down, got something to say after. I mean, that's what I saw. I saw a guy that's ready to play football.
He has no great
ready to be
indicator,
challenged.
but he's good at everything. He doesn't have one great thing. He's good at everything.
So, Jason, you got 16 passes defended on here that led the SEC.
I think it was 17, if I'm not mistaken.
That's crazy.
yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's awesome. man.
Whatever
I think
number it was.
It speaks to what Tana's talking about.
Yeah.
I
though.
think I
Like,
had 23 coming out.
We're trying to talk about this man over here. And
There you go. Fact check him, Jason.
Yeah, Jason's got us.
Hey, listen, y'all can fact check me.
Well, we're just
But that's ridiculous though,
I know,
like,
yeah.
right?
And so for him to again three interceptions, he just shows an awareness.
Yeah.
And I think like that's one thing that with DBs that I often undervalue. Like when you compare him to Siobhan Revell, not as aware of the football in the air, right? This guy is. Like he made a pick. Who was it? You probably remember.
Oh, you talking about in the end zone?
Yes.
The one that he they threw it up in the end zone.
Yeah,
he
and
literally jumps out the end zone, catches it, flips over, and lands in like the 3
He kind
yard.
of like got rolled. Like someone kind of undercut him.
Some undercut him. Yeah,
But the play on the ball, Tana, was
it's unbelievable.
was incredible. And so like I just think like that's the kind of guy that it just a good ball awareness, good position.
Yeah.
Got to clean up some stuff. Nothing too major, but got to clean up some stuff. And I just think, how do you think that affects the defense? Like where do you see him fitting in? And like what's his role like moving forward? Do you think?
I think it's icing on the cake. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you got this core group of guys, and then you bring in this other guy, and he can like. All right, you got Mikey Sanders still. I think it allows.
You think he moves back to the slot?
I think it allows
It
him.
allows him to go to the
It
slot.
allows him to
Right.
move back into the slot. Now you got another tall guy on the outside, a
with
press corner.
Harris, the other guy on the outside.
And then you still got Jonathan Jones. Don't forget you still got Jonathan Jones. So you got a treasure chest of wealth right there.
And then
Like,
Noah Igbenogany's still around.
yeah, but you got no. So
Forgot
so
about
put it like
Benogany.
this: you're not one injury away from everything shattering. Like
Which is kind of where they were last year.
yeah. Like we was like, one guy goes down and it's over with.
yeah.
I don't think we're there anymore. Like I think it's gonna be a run on the position where you start three corners these days. It ain't two corners that
it's
start. You
nickel for
start
sure.
three. All right. I don't know the starting three right now.
Yeah.
And that's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have.
And so, I mean, obviously, I think he projects to outside.
Yeah, he's
right? I mean,
outside.
that's
He's
kinda
not
the
a
way we
nickel.
see it. And again, like just to be clear, like he's got to compete for this.
Yes.
He's got to win this opportunity.
No, he gonna have to.
Because
Ain't nothing given.
like Tana said, like they did a great job of making sure we've got a bunch of really hyper competitive dudes who can play football. So he's got to earn it.
Yeah.
But I think him outside, Sanders still inside.
Yeah.
And then Marshawn on the other side.
And then you still got, now think about it. Noah Igbenogany can play inside. Like Jonathan Jones can play inside. They all can play outside.
Yeah.
So now you
Yeah,
got
that's a great point.
You got a rotational right there that you can't beat.
I think it just gives you that competitive edge as a defensive back room that you're gonna have a bunch of guys in there trying to get out there on that field. So everybody gonna be out there playing their best game. You know what I mean? So
And it's kind of what the Connolly pick does for the O-line. It just lets you get your best, in this case, 3 if you're in dime 4, and with the offensive line to get your best 5 out there.
Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for,
That's
right?
all you can do.
Just want a lot of competitiveness. All right. So, Tana, I don't know if you've watched this guy at all. The next guy they picked at, what was the pick? 128?
Yeah.
Was Jalen Lane, wide receiver for Virginia Tech. And I just wanted to, I knew he had a good combine. So I was like, let me just go back, look up what he did. And I was, quite frankly, blown away by his numbers. So let's get this. 4.34. No,
Sound like me.
yeah, 4.34 40-yard dash. Insane. 1.5 10-yard split. Also insane.
that's running.
Yeah, guess what his vertical jump was?
40.
Probably like 40. So
40.
yeah,
Guess what his broad jump was?
11.
11. 11. Are you out of your mind? 11 feet?
Yeah.
Get out of here. 3-cone drill, 6.75. That is elite.
Yeah.
That is elite. That's like the movement skills, sinking, cuts, and then a 4.12 second 20-yard shuttle and 14 reps on the bench press. So I see that and I'm like, you are not going to
Sound
find.
like Tanner, man. Sound like my measurements.
What was your vertical?
I told you I cleared everything. All 42.
Yeah, I did too.
Go
Stop,
fact
you
check
stop that.
Go fact
I
check
did.
that.
Let this man hype himself up.
No, and I ain't even trying to hype myself up, but no, that's ridiculous for a
But I
receiver
just think
to have
about,
those
but
kind of.
just to give context, your 40 was a 4.2.
So my 40, they rounded up to 4.31.
Yeah.
That was the fastest in our class.
So
but I
that's
ran a
pretty close.
4.28.
That's pretty close to what our guy Jalen Lane is. And what was your vertical jump? It was
My
over-
vertical jump was I cleared all 42. So
Yeah.
we had 42. I cleared it with the bottom of my hand. They gave me like 44.
Yeah, me and Tam.
But they didn't really
Do you
have
remember
no
your
number.
broad jump off top?
My broad, I don't know. I don't even think I broad jumped because once I did that, they was
Yeah,
like, man,
yeah,
this
forget
dude day is over. Like my day was kind of.
But
like
again,
done.
like our guy Jalen Lane has a 40-inch broad jump. He ran a 4.34. Like
and you do all that at 5'10".
you're talking about a guy.
And is he 200?
I think he's. Let me
190?
Probably not
190. I
even.
think.
Probably not even.
Let me double check what he weighed in at.
So not only is he fast.
Yeah, 191 he weighed
Not
at.
only is he quick, he's also strong. How many?
Yeah.
What was the bench
14.
Yeah.
press? I did it once.
Yeah.
Like one
Did
time.
you bench?
I mean, no, I ain't even bench. But
I mean,
I probably
if you ran a 4.3, I wouldn't bench you.
we was benching the house at UM,
I
so
bet
I
you
mean,
were, yeah.
you know, that wasn't a problem.
wasn't
But the thing
benching
about
nuts.
me, the thing that's so crazy that raised my eyebrows when I watched his film cut up, just the highlights that they were showing.
Yeah.
Most of those punt returns he returning, he's breaking tackles. Like he's running through arm tackles, and then he hollering, then he getting missing on you. So. You know, you got a guy in here that's going to be definitely, you know, I can see why you say our guy Izzo was going crazy
Dude, Izzo
about
was
the
going
pick.
nuts.
Yeah.
Because to me, that's a part of our game that you want to excel at. I mean, that just, to me, those are first downs that you can't account for. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As a punt returner. You know, my coaches always tell me, 10, I need 2 first downs. I'm like, Coach, you talking about? I need you getting more than 10 yards. I need you to get at least 20 yards. You know what I'm saying? So that's 2 first downs for us. So
a great point.
when you got a guy like that who can change the field after that ball is kicked and it touches his hands, that put our offense in a better, you know, range of going out there and doing damage.
He got the trace to get what we call in the defensive back room. He finna get little on you.
Yeah.
Like when the dude start getting smaller, that mean he running away from you. He getting little. All right, when he turned to the 2-inch man,
Yeah.
you probably 30 miles away from him. This guy has the ability to
Yeah.
turn to the Ant-Man.
Yeah.
All right? And that's what you want. You want big playability.
Yeah.
And once he get little, you don't see nothing but the last name.
I love it. The other thing, too, is like I think about, you know, you talk about the return ability. Like I do think there's going to be a slight regression in terms of 4th down conversion. You know, it was 87% last year.
I would say like
That's like a cartoon number.
You can only go backwards. Yeah.
Your 3rd down was like 47, which was second in the
With
NFL.
no tush push.
Yeah, which was second
with
in the
no
NFL.
tush push.
So there's going to be a little bit of just a slight regression,
Yeah.
obviously. Like those are just unsustainable numbers.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden you bring in a guy in the return game who can give you 2 first downs, right? You don't have to be converting all those first downs.
Yeah.
You can get scores on special teams. Like that's a really dynamic thing. And then I do think like I like his offensive film.
Yeah.
You watch the offense at Virginia Tech, and I don't know if we have any Hokies watching. Offense was kind of hard for me to watch.
It stinks.
It's not great.
Let's be honest.
Yes.
Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat nothing.
It's like kind of like this RPO triple option.
Yeah,
It's
it
like
was-
it's a weird deal, and so the receivers are kind of in a tough spot. But I will say this dude will block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's tough with the ball in his hands. Like you watch him break tackles all the
Going
time.
on reverses, he do
And
it all.
I think his route running nuance is better than what he was able to show in college.
Yeah.
Well, I think he's a Bloomingdale Zacchaeus.
Oh,
Mm.
And if Zacchaeus is Timu, right? This guy is Bloomingdale.
okay.
He's an upgraded. He's a Zacchaeus with rims on it.
Yeah, well, because I think Zacchaeus is a heck of a football
I
player.
know he was a heck
Yeah,
of,
no,
he was a heck
he's
of
a
a route
good
runner
football
too.
player. I'm
but
saying
he's got a little more gasoline.
that's what all I'm saying.
That man ain't
He's-
Timu. He just Paramount and Buddy Paramount Plus.
all I'm saying, he's a upgraded Zacchaeus.
But I did have that thought when I watched him. I was like, he reminds me a little bit of Zacchaeus.
Zacchaeus, that's what I said
but
when I watched
can,
him.
but he can hit a home run,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
And again, the play strength is cool.
He got
Like,
that holler in him.
and I think about like what he could do for the offense. You know, like obviously you lose De'Ami Brown.
Yeah.
And, like that straight vertical guy to clear stuff out for
The
Terry
clear out
and
guy.
Debo.
Yeah.
Clear out.
Like it's nice.
And now he's that guy. He can be that
I
guy.
think
for
so,
him.
and he's got to earn this too. Like
Yeah,
there's lots of good
definitely. All
football
these
players,
guys do.
right? But there's in terms of like what he could mean for the offense, role for the offense, role on special teams right out the gate. I don't know if he can cover kicks, but he plays like he can. Like he's just like a tough dude.
Yeah.
So I really like getting that guy at 128. Like I love that pick.
Yeah.
Because it's just great value. Fits the culture of the team really well.
Yeah.
And obviously very exciting. Now, maybe one of my favorite players in the draft is the next guy they drafted, Kane Medrano from UCLA.
Film pops.
Let's not say that he's your favorite because you're a little Bruin.
I'm
bias.
gonna say a little
You're a
brewing
little
bias
Bruin,
here.
you're a little
Maybe it's a
Bruin
little baby
yourself.
blue
Yeah.
and
Cal State
yellow going on.
But Fred, you watched him.
Yeah.
Like he's 6'3", he's 220, 225. Again, I'll read his athletic profile in a second.
It's unbelievable. Fastest linebacker in the draft.
The way this dude moves,
I
like,
don't know if he's a safety or a linebacker.
he plays like a safety
Like
a little bit, yeah.
I'm sorry, he has this thing to him. Like when I watch film, I like to see guys that I don't have to wonder where you at on the field,
Yeah.
especially as a defensive player. Like, I want you to be like, hey, it's me.
Yeah.
I'm right. And this is what his film said. When I turned the film on, he looked at me and was like, yeah, check me out. All right, wait till you get a load of this. All right. He had a pick six.
Yeah.
That he literally picks the ball off. He coming downhill, right? He picks the ball off, run past the offensive tacklers, literally gets like 10 yards from the end zone. Somebody try to cut him low. He jumps over him, spins around while he jumps. Like, I'm
a crazy play.
is he a linebacker? Is he like? That's why I'm like, I'm caught up on what he really is on this level.
Converted wide receiver.
That part.
Yeah.
Think about that. You know what I mean? And then he's a hybrid. You know what I mean? Like, why force him to be anything but what he is?
Yeah.
You need him in the box, put him down there. You need him to cover, let him cover. You know what I mean? Like he to me, he brings something to this defense that we've seen that we had in Jeremy Chin, and like how we had Fowler. You know, he was one of those guys that you didn't know what he was. Like, was he a linebacker, an edge rusher? You know what I mean? So he has that about his game, which I feel like that fits what we do. You know what I mean? He's a football player. He's a guy that's gonna fly around. He's a guy that say, "Look, man, go out there and do your job." And that's what I saw. I saw that he jumped off the charts when it came to just being around the football. Very instinctive.
Yeah.
You know, even when he wasn't making the interception, he made the play on the ball, making it hard for the other guy. You know what I mean? Or making it easier for his other guys to come out there and get the pick. So
I ain't gonna lie, Izzo should be happy about this one too.
because
I think
definitely special teams.
And as a 6th-round player, like his home's going to be teams.
Yeah.
But I think what we're kind of pointing to here is like so just in one game, I forget who they were playing. It was a red team. Might have been Nebraska, USC. I don't remember.
Yeah, probably Nebraska.
And so he lined up as the star. So like over the slot player, running with receivers.
Yes.
Filling all that space, playing RPO. The next play, he's lined up at Mike linebacker, like taking on pulling guards and getting under stuff. On the third play, he's lined up at like defensive end in the odd
Edge
front.
rusher.
Yeah, edge rusher, rushing the tackle for a pressure.
Yeah.
And so everyone's like, wow, he sounds like really. He's an excellent football player, but he's a converted wide receiver. So here's a good play. They're playing Nebraska or Iowa. He plays the zone read, right? He misses the tackle on the quarterback, right? Yeah. Quarterback runs perimeter. This dude's so athletic, puts his hand down, chases him down, rips the ball out. He doesn't quite have all the linebackery stuff figured out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, he doesn't take the best angles. He's not the best tackler. He's not like physical as a tackler, but taking on blocks, covering kicks, in space, like the movement skills are incredible.
He's willing. That's all I want you to do is be willing. We can cross them T's and we can dot those I's when you get here. That's what, listen, every prospect drafted in this draft is flawed. All right?
Yeah.
Nobody has peaked. Nobody has made it to where they're going to be. That's what make pro coaching elite compared to college coaching.
Yeah.
I want the player that's willing to do it and has the skill set to do it. We'll figure the rest out.
Just give me potential and I'll do the rest.
I'll do the rest.
And I think about the tackling thing, you know, and Jeremy Green, you know, he's a great dude. He's been on our draft show. He's an awesome analyst. He's like, well, if he's going someplace, like, you're going to learn from literally the best tackler in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
Like Bobby Wagner. And then talk about Dan Quinn coaching tackling. Yeah. Like, that's something that I feel like they can help him get better
I feel like he got a little bit more Frankie Louvu in him. I can see him diving over the Superdome or something like that. I feel like Frankie Louvu seems to be the one that rubs off on this kid.
Dude, you know, so he was at the Shrine Bowl.
Yeah.
So and I said this somewhere else. And again, like, I don't want to. He's a 6th-round pick, so I don't want to overhype him.
No, this dude is talented.
But like, so so this is what happened. So they're in one-on-ones, right? He's playing one-on-one with the running back. He has 2 pick sixes in that drill. And you remember running back one-on-ones?
Yeah.
The running back should never lose that drill.
No, because they got ledge. They got the leverage on everything.
And they can go any way. There's no offensive line. This guy has 2 picks in that drill. You go to team watching the Shrine Bowl. Yeah. He has 2 sacks. Yeah. Rushing as an end. Yeah. So like, I just look at him. I'm like, this. I don't know what you do with him. Yeah. But the athletes there, teams value right at the door. Yeah. Excited about the prospect, and hopefully learns how to tackle.
And his name is Kane.
And then I think that leads really nicely into Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, running back from Arizona, who is maybe the most
intriguing.
Very interesting about his little last year mishap of playing only one game.
Well, that says a lot. If you get drafted.
But it's crazy is that he just mentioned, and I heard it. I heard one of the scouts say that play one game. It was a little mishap with him transferring, so he may have to miss the rest of the season.
Yeah, the NCAA.
But then he goes and plays in the bowl game, after missing the entire year of playing football.
And it's even later because it's the Shrine Bowl. It's the All-Star game.
Yeah.
And you go be MVP of that bowl game.
Yeah.
Like, that is hard to do. Think about how much football he had to watch.
Yes.
And how hard
that
is
is
it to
crazy
not
when
go
you
out
think
there
about that.
and compete against somebody and still be in shape enough to go out there and dominate that bowl
I've never
game?
heard of it.
So-
I've,
so
I've
to me,
never
that's-
heard this story before.
Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah, that's
It's
impossible. Almost.
It's kind of a bummer for him, but like it's awesome for the Commanders because like
Yeah.
when you watch him, so he was at New Mexico before. He's a 3-school guy too.
Yeah.
Transferred up New Mexico, was like over 1,000-yard rusher, had 17 touchdowns, 72 like really good football player. When you watch him, there is a running back athleticism that pops. So for example, at the combine, his 10-yard split was 1.5. And so think about, we were just talking about Jalen Lane. His split was 1.5 and he ran a 4.3.
Yeah.
Right. So extremely explosive.
Burst.
Yeah.
He had a 40-inch vertical at 210 pounds body weight.
Burst.
Right. And so when you watch him, like his ability to kind of find the crease, get downhill, kind of not take a big shot, keep his shoulder pads square. Like you said receiver.
Yeah.
Or defensive backs, defense. Like he's a runner's runner.
He got a little priest home in him.
Dude.
Yeah.
I like that. I didn't think about that, but that's actually not too bad.
It takes the draft guru to tell you the truth. He got a little priest homes in him.
And we're not saying he's a Hall of Fame player, but like stylistically.
I'm saying stylistically, like
Yeah.
the one thing football players are always good at is comparing another football player to a football player that they played. Like when I see him in that first step in that burst, I'm like, oh, I seen this before Priest home before I looked at the back of his jersey when he got little on.
And they kind of are the same kind of body type.
Yeah, the same
like,
body type.
Muscled up top.
And what he does have is balance. Like when
balance is great.
When I play running backs, the first thing I want to know is what his balance is, because he's telling me, am I going to cut him low or am I just going to try to wrap him up? Like he's a wrap up guy. If you don't wrap him up, he will not fall.
And then, now with all the advanced analytics, at these bowl games and stuff, the Shrine Bowl, specifically the All-Star game, he had the best deceleration of any player at the event. So talk about the ability to kind of stick your foot in the ground, make someone miss, stop, start. Like I think he got
That ability to stop as a running back is everything.
Everything.
He's got a special skill
You
set,
gotta know how
man.
to set him up.
And so I think he in a if he plays this last year, he's probably a 3rd or 4th round draft pick, but he only played one game
Thank Lord.
at Arizona, and he's here for the Commanders. So when I said
Football gods.
Shining on him.
and we'll see, he's got obviously got to compete, got to earn that spot, and he's a 7th round pick, so he's just above a UDFA.
Yeah, but guess what? If you're a 7th-round pick in a 5-pick draft,
Yeah,
you was drafted with a purpose.
Yeah.
Like I always look at the whole picture. I don't look at the minutia. Like we only had 5 picks. They want to make all 5 of these picks count.
Yeah.
and so like we talked about at the top, and one of the things that I took away is like Josh Connolly, Trey Amos, Jalen Lane, Kane Medrano, and Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt. Sorry,
They all the same.
they all have a shot.
Yes.
And there's been in years past where I'm like, no way this dude makes the
Yeah.
team. He's going to be a player maybe in 2 years.
Yeah.
But all these guys could be
Yeah.
playing football for the Washington.
And
Commanders.
help.
Yeah.
Help the team win.
And
Right.
then he's in the running back room with all the guys there. They'll all be free agents next year. So
Yeah.
you definitely have a chance to really go out there and compete, knowing that these guys are, on their last leg. You know what I mean? So make it
Tanner
work.
Newsom.
No doubt, man. That's a great point. I got to think more about that in this analysis, but that's great. So those are the 5 draft picks. We'll talk more about the UDFAs at a later time when that list gets finalized because it's still a little up in the air at the moment. But now it's going to lead us to Risk It for the Biscuit, thinking you're better than an NFL GM, presented by Marsh McLennan Agency, your partner in risk and people strategies. So what we're going to do in this segment is we're going to talk about some people who took a little bit of a skid. And I guess we'll start with the story of the draft. I feel very comfortable saying that. In Shedeur Sanders.
Shard.
And I think a lot of people are like, oh, he was a first-round talent. More people I talked to saw him more as a kind of fringe first, so like late first, early second. I think David Carr, Drew Brees type of prospect.
Yeah.
And I think it's just important to note that when you are in that kind of range, you should interview with everybody that asks. You should do a good job.
And you should also go to the Senior Bowl. And you should also, every time you get to showcase your talent, you should showcase your talent.
Yeah.
Like, this was the biggest, how should I say, looking in the mirror and not seeing what's really truthfully there
a
that
great
I have
point.
ever seen in my life.
And it's not his fault.
No, it's the NIL fault. Like I said this, NIL has blurred. It will blur like just because college
View you
looks
as
at you
something.
like this,
Yeah.
the pros don't look
They
at
have
you
to
like
look at you the
this.
same way. Yeah.
You think about it. Between him and Quinn Ewers, like Quinn Ewers should have stayed in college. Like he should have stayed in college. The guy went in the 7th round.
Yeah, I don't know why I didn't stay.
Yeah, he should have. He could have made $4 million in college, and he finna make $800,000 in the league. Like, I think this NIL thing and the pro thing is finna butt heads.
Yeah.
And I think this was the first view of that.
Well, this is the interesting part about it. I think if Shedeur had done some of the stuff you're talking about, if he had gone to the Senior Bowl, if he had he went to the Shrine Bowl. If he throws at the Shrine Bowl, like let people see you.
Yes.
Do your thing. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're going to interview, like remember, this is the biggest interview process annually every year, right? So basically from what I understand, and this is all from like the various reports, he said, I'm going to interview with 3 teams, right? I'm going to interview with the top picks. So Tennessee, Tennessee, Cleveland, and New York, right? And apparently he botched the interview with the New York Giants.
Of course. I seen him on the chalkboard.
So,
Didn't look good.
And then he said, I'm not interviewing with anybody else.
Yeah.
And so if you do that, and he said, and the other thing he said is, I'm going to do that because I don't want to play for that team. And so all of a sudden, if I'm that team, I'm going to be like, all right, well, kick rocks. And so I think, again, just a mismanagement of the
biggest mismanagement I have ever. This is the biggest draft fall of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, it is. It is. Like, talent, perception, all of it all together, it was the big, like, it was so big that we, like I said, we wasn't talking about the big story to me, and that's Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Cam Ward was the big story to me.
Yeah.
Like, the rise from zero to hero cannot be compared. Like, I was like, why ain't nobody talking about Cam Ward? Now, I know his suit stunk. All right, that's Santana fault. I knew his suit stunk. But I was like, this the story. We should not be talking about Shedeur.
Yeah.
Like, but because Shedeur was put this high and put on this pedestal to watch him, the demise, I think more people was caught up in the demise of the Sanders name than they were anything.
That was a lot of things that stood out to me about the whole, I guess you can say the whole mockery. Because at one point, leading up to the draft, I heard his name entirely too much, and I was like, this is odd. Something's brewing that I don't think is going to be, this is going to be interesting come draft day. Now, I didn't know what was going to happen. I had a feeling that it wasn't going to be the top 10 guys, top 10 teams, I mean. But I didn't have no clue it was going to get the way it got. And when I saw what ended up happening, they got to the point where the draft was over for us, you know, covering it. We was at the draft party, and someone's like, hey, Shedeur finally got picked up. I'm like, oh, did he? And he was like, by Cleveland. I'm like, so you mean to tell me Cleveland always had one of them? You know what I mean? They wanted them the first time when they traded their draft. They wanted them the second time when they ended up getting a quarterback. So to me, it looked like something that he did that I didn't know.
Yeah.
And then when I sat down and watched different, sport outlooks, they basically had the same saying, like, we've always been told, regardless of it's football or anything, when you're in an interview for a job, you have to give these people your best.
Yes.
Be at your best. And I think some of the things that kind of transpired from when his dad was going through that, he thought he can do the same thing.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm not saying he's right.
He took the wrong approach.
You have to understand when you're a quarterback, they hold you to a different
standard than a cornerback.
And I think, to me, after hearing some of the things that they said he did, I was like, well, damn, if bombing in the interview caused you to drop that low, everybody who watched this situation transpire shouldn't ever have to worry about going to anybody's interview again.
That's a good point.
And taking it for granted. You know what I'm saying?
Also, I'm going to tell you when I was like, come on, Shedeur, like, stop it. After the first night, he didn't get drafted, first round, he started rapping. And I was like, dude, at one point, you got to realize you are not a wide receiver.
Yeah.
You're not a running back. You are the face of a franchise. You cannot be what we can. You can't do what we can do.
Yeah.
Like the best quarterbacks I've been around, they aloof a little bit. They're still part of the
It's
team.
like a hyper professional.
Yeah, but they just so like man, I wish I could do what y'all do. I just can't.
They're locked in.
They locked in a way, and Shedeur, to me, it was like, it's my world, y'all just living in it.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can do that as a quarterback. Like, I think the NFL went out of their way to humble him.
Yeah.
Like, they went out their way to humble him, and they did. They humbled him.
Yeah, I don't know if it was like malicious, but again, like if you
It
say,
almost felt that way.
but think
I
about
was like, it's odd, cause no team don't want this guy.
but
Like,
think
he's
about the
a
process
good
though.
quarterback.
If I'm the, I can't even think of it. If I'm the Steelers,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I was semi pissed off at them.
and I'm like,
More than
and
anybody.
you're Shedeur, and you're like, I don't want to interview with you because I don't want to play for you.
Yeah.
Like, do I just take you off my board?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yes.
Like,
I mean,
maybe.
yeah, 'cause people
I'm
are
like,
petty.
you don't want to play for me?
Yeah. People
Like,
are petty
First
too.
of all, who are you?
Yeah, right.
Like, who are you? It ain't but 32 of us.
Yeah.
It's 32 of us. And at what point did he not think, just because I get drafted by this team, don't mean I can't eventually play for this team?
Yeah.
Like, at what point do you not?
it almost boils down to me to, even if, with him being the fifth quarterback in the quarterback room with Cleveland, I think Cleveland has a chance now. They have leverage to say, hey, we got Shedeur. Who need a quarterback?
Oh, no, it's very,
We have this guy. Who need a quarterback?
it's very Kirk Cousins-esque.
It's at the point
Like,
now
yeah.
where if Cleveland feel like we can get something for this guy because a team need him, they can go ahead and make a deal.
And
You see what I'm
no
saying?
kidding, he might mess around and start there. Like,
No,
like
no,
that-
I'm
No doubt.
Yeah,
So I'm
this
just saying
is-
they have so many
like
quarterbacks.
we think he's a talented player, but I just think this is a really good peek behind maybe into like what the professionalism level of these interviews.
Yeah.
Like it's really funny. Like
It's
when
bigger than your doing stuff on the field.
correct. So like when I call my buddies and I'm talking to them about certain guys, I'm like, oh, what about player X? And they're like, yeah, I didn't love him in the interview. Like I had multiple conversations with guys where I was like, I'm going to tell the GM to take him off the board.
Yeah.
Because he didn't interview well with me. And
Yeah.
I'm nervous about it. I don't really like him. And it just is a nice peek behind that process. And again, like, Dion is his dad trying to provide good advice. But one of the things the agent does that's really, really valuable is that they have connections with all the GMs in the NFL.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, what's your grade on him? Where
Yeah.
do you think he's going to go? And
Yeah.
I'm sure he would have been able to get better advice.
Yeah, if he had somebody that was plugged in.
Yeah, and I think that makes it really challenging. Like I think about the way my agent handles, I do tight end development for him now, right? So when I talk to him and he's like, oh yeah, he's going to go at this pick in this range. And I'm just like, and I'll be damned if every year it isn't the exact range.
Yeah.
But that's valuable because then you're like, hey,
Yeah, you need that.
son, you got to interview with all these teams.
No, it's realistic.
Yeah.
He's giving you a realistic view of what it really is, and they're not going to divulge this to Prime. They
They're
will.
not, yeah.
They will divulge this to an agent,
Because they've got those relationships.
and I got to deal with this agent year in and year out. Like I'm gonna deal with him next year.
Yeah.
And
Like,
you could tell, like some of that too was transpiring, and the first thing I thought about was like, it's some of these people who has those, I guess you can say those who make those calls probably didn't even want to call Prime because being that he's Prime.
Yeah.
And they was a little, they feared him a little way. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
and this thing about it, if I got a funny feeling about you, you don't think I'm gonna feel funny about your son? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like being a person of business.
Yeah.
No matter what we doing, how good you is at what we do, if I ain't got the best
Relationship with you? Yeah.
I'm gonna look at your son like, well, he might be
The same person.
bingo. You know what I mean? So that's what I was thinking the whole time this was going on. I'm like, well, damn, I hope they ain't taking it out on him.
Did this reek of, like, I ain't gonna lie, I was watching the draft, and I was like, this reeks of, do I smell Johnny Manziel? Like, Shedeur had some Johnny Manziel cologne on.
Yeah.
It had this, I'm brash, I'm gonna do quarterback in my way. Meaning, I know we supposed to be politicians, but I'm gonna be more like a entertainer.
Yeah.
It reeked of Johnny Manziel.
But also, I think I don't think NFL teams care that much about that specifically. Like
Yeah.
I think you've played with guys, and I've seen guys be successful that are bigger. Like Cam Newton's a good example. He's a big personality.
Who?
Yeah.
Cam Newton.
Cam Newton.
Yeah, most of them Cam was.
He's a
But
big,
he's very articulate, and I'm sure Cam killed his meeting, his interviews.
that's what I'm saying. You can be
brash.
brash if you handle your business.
If you handle your business.
And so if you are brash and you don't take care of business.
You better be good on that board, that chalkboard. You better be good in those interviews.
Like Cam Ward is a brash dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's like when you watch him in interview, when you watch him with his teammates, like he's aggressive, he's confident.
Yeah.
But it's
business.
It's business.
It's all about
Yeah.
football.
And I think that that's something that, again, like there's just, and then the other thing I just want to point out here too is NFL teams don't want to deal with a headache. They don't. So like, if you are going to bring all of this stuff with
brashness,
you,
yeah.
this brashness,
You better be the hell of a
the
player.
prime, like I think about it, I call it Tim Tebow syndrome, right?
Yeah.
Like everyone's like, Tim Tebow was good enough to be your third tight end in New York. Like he was good enough to do that. But no one wants to have a press conference
About my third tight end.
about your third tight end. No one wants to have a press conference with your fifth quarterback.
Yeah.
Like that's just annoying. The coaches got to answer questions about it. Because think about it, every single question in Cleveland now is going to be like,
When is Shedeur?
How's Shedeur playing? What's he doing? What's going on? Because that's what you write stories about.
Yeah.
And it's just a headache from a media standpoint. So I think that's, again, I think he's a really good case study.
Yeah.
He is, and everybody forgot that Dylan Gabriel went third round.
And think about how he handled the process. He went to the Senior Bowl.
Yes.
He crushed the interviews.
Yes.
Everyone loved him.
Yeah. But he's tiny.
He's tiny.
He's 5'11".
Look, man, I'm so far removed from the draft, but I learned so much watching that, man. I learned a lot, and it's the craziest part about it. Days removed from the draft, I changed my whole perspective of it. You know what I mean? Like I was thinking one thing, and I was like, oh, so you did that? You can't do that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like I was more big. I was sitting up pissed off, like, man, you can't do this to these people because it's prime.
Yeah.
And then after days of watching and hearing, I'm like, oh, well, this wasn't really about prime. It might be a little bit, but this is more
about
so
Shedeur.
about you're not your dad.
Thank you.
You're not there yet.
You're not exceptional.
So
as
come in
athlete.
here and be what we want you to be, and then we will give you that floor for you to hold your hand high, say legendary, all that. But you have to come in here and
you ain't legendary.
And it's not even be what we want you to be. It's just be a
yeah,
pro.
be a pro.
Yeah, be a pro.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Be what you want. A pro.
Yeah, be a pro.
More than anything.
And so again, that's Shedeur. I think he's a really good microcosm. The other one I just wanted to call attention to real quick because we're going to wrap here is Will Johnson. Everyone's like, we should have taken Will Johnson at 29. He had a degenerative knee issue that was reported after the draft.
Yeah.
And so you better believe every single team in the NFL knew that. And that's why he falls. And so you see stuff like that. You're not, I know everyone's like, oh, his tape's good. But like, what was the receiver that played? Malcolm Kelly?
Yes, we had Malcolm here, and we didn't get a yard out of Malcolm.
Because the knees were bad.
Because
right?
his knees
He had,
just
he had,
would
like
not let him
microfracture
play.
surgery. And so like those are things that as fans and even us as analysts, we're not always privy to.
Yeah.
And so like understanding the medical, understanding how significant it was.
Did I pick Will Johnson to be one of my stars in our draft off?
I don't remember.
I think I did. I have just blew it, didn't it?
No, you're okay.
No.
But that's going to do it for today's show. Please make sure you like and subscribe where you get your podcasts. Always appreciate you guys tuning in. And please just remember, we started the gorilla thing.
We did. Not 100 people, though.